Blues Alive it's really my fully integrated teaching method of all the different things I've learned from the great masters I've studied with. And the sort of elevator pitch for it is that it's called the living tradition of the blues. So what we do is we take the elder musicians, we take the ancestral style of learning, call and response, the oral tradition, and we bring that into institutional settings. So we go into students' classrooms, we give a little bit of a demonstration, and then we play with them. So I'm doing this with Avery Sharp, Juma Sultan, and Myra Casales. So we're going out, visiting kids in their schoolroom, in the classroom.
I ask you about the school programs that you're doing. So this is mostly going into the public schools, then?
I have a range of clients.
Okay.
So I can service clients. I can do a lot of different things. I used to write curriculum for like school districts in Connecticut. So I can do professional development for teachers. We do like jazz ensemble. Like we come in and guest conduct a jazz band.
Sure.
Combo, and I use my blues curriculum to augment that. And kind of what we're always doing is we're mixing institutionalized settings of learning with the the traditional styles of learning. So, for example, when we have someone where we go and do a jazz combo. So jazz combo is like piano, bass, and drums. And a guitarist and a couple horn players, sort of thing that you would see like at a jazz summer workshop, like a jazz summer camp. So we would go in, we would give a short presentation. We use like slides and history and music literacy along with demonstrating for the kids how to play jazz, working on improvisation. So it's basically taking what students are already doing in their jazz combo and we're adding this whole other element of African American studies, music history, general music literacy.
Sure.
Different way to learn off of the records, right?
Yeah.
I came to this method because I didn't go to music school. I went to school for African American studies and arts administration and art history. So I actually I did three things all at once when I was at UMass. I studied in the apprenticeship setting. I had a little bit of music theory and music history and kind of like the music school training, but I really picked and chose. I only did them like as gen eds. I didn't do them as like a degree.
Right.
So I had the good fortune of studying as an apprentice with some of the heaviest, people ever. And that method of learning to me was the important thing. So now that Juma and I have this relationship, now that I collaborate with Avery Sharp, these are people who are on the level of a griot. So it makes perfect sense to take what we do as a band on stage, presenting the message to the audience on stage, to taking that a step farther and constructing it in a way that we can present it to kids in schools. Anyone, not just young kids, college student, you know what I mean? It can really run the gamut.
Sure.
Professional development training.
Excellent, yeah. So tell my listeners, so a griot is like a sort of a troubadour, I gather, a West African troubadour of sorts, right?
Yeah, so the griot is like the storyteller and historian, and they have a broad social function in certain West African traditions. A lot of the music that came to the New World and was built upon is griot instruments, griot music, griot. In the lifestyle of being a master musician, being a griot, there's a certain method of teaching, which is like the oral traditions, these ancestral forms of teaching. So this is an ancestral profession, ancestral caste that still exists to this day. So they exist in Africa, but they also exist in our environment, right? So like the urban griot is something that, we talk about.